Your YouTube channel has a great industry, an amazing sub-niche, and you've got a super unique personality to stand out from everyone else in your industry, right? Yet for some reason, you sound like everyone else in your industry, you have no subscribers, and frankly, you haven't made a dime with YouTube yet. But don't worry, it's not because you're doing those first three parts wrong. It's because there's a fourth part that I bet you didn't even know exists. And it's called the Community Flywheel. You see, there's more to this community onion than what people talk about than just, getting the right amount of subscribers or being consistent or having the right industry and sub-niche picked out. You see, without this fourth and final layer at the center of all of it, the whole thing just implodes. And if you want to explode on YouTube in 2026, well, that's exactly why I made this YouTube video. I made it for you so that you can figure out exactly what your industry is, your sub-niche, and all the layers to the onion so that you can actually start making some sales this year. Today I'm going to break down the 4 layers, like we mentioned, that turn viewers into paying customers. And more importantly, I'm actually going to show you the one layer that I was missing for 2 years, which cost me tens of thousands of dollars. So hopefully it can help you out and save you a little bit of money and time. But even with doing the first 3 right, I still couldn't sell anything. Look, the first thing everyone tells you is that you need to niche down and stop being so broad so that you can lock in on a specific target market and, just be specific. Find the right person, find your ICP, find your target market. You hear this a million times. You've probably heard niche down until it hurts, to be honest. And if you're too broad, you are competing with everyone at the end of the day. So you're like, okay, that makes sense. We all can agree, I think, that you need to get specific at some point. You need to be able to lock in on a specific group of persons. So let's say instead of just fitness, you go for, okay, I'm gonna go for fitness for divorced dads who are over 40 that hate cardio and only want to work out 20 minutes a day, right? Super specific. That's great. And you feel good about this now because you're not just another fitness channel and you're the only channel for this very, very specific topic. A great start. But then you run into the first problem because after the first 10 or 20 videos of what kind of running should divorced dads do? What kind of walking 20-minute exercises can dads do? I'm just like putting myself to sleep over here thinking about it. Because at some point, what else is there to say for 20-minute workouts for divorced dads who hate cardio? Like, that's a mouthful, to be honest. You've done the workout routines, you've done the meal plans, you've done the mindset stuff, you give them advice on exactly what to do, and it just gets repetitive. You end up repeating the topic and content over and over again, and you're stuck with no views. But again, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you don't know something. And this is actually a great sidebar because I know we have a lot of business owners in the audience here, and frankly, in business, my personal favorite philosophy is you just don't know what you don't know, and it's the same thing with YouTube, right? Like if you don't know certain aspects of the game, it's not your fault, but it's also your responsibility to be able to find these aspects of content creation that you don't know to take yourself to the next level, because you could just be hitting a brick wall over and over and over again where you don't even know that maybe packaging is your limited resource that you don't know anything about, and it could actually lead you to repurposing the same 20, 30 video concepts over and over again and get more and more views every time, but you don't know what you're doing. So interesting sidebar, learn as much as you can about the game. At the end of the day, it's still not working out. You're still being too specific. And that's why you don't start with a micro niche. You start with an industry, which is the first layer to this onion, which you guys already know, right? Fitness, business, technology, filmmaking, arts, dancing, whatever it might be, okay? Millions of people already watch all of these different areas of content, right? Your job isn't to make demand. It exists. That's the best part. If you micro niche, you're not going to have any demand. So don't try to force it to exist in such a small area, okay? Let's start big. Let's cater to that existing demand, all right? Your job isn't to invent demand, but to cater to that existing demand, right? This lets you talk about things without feeling off-brand when you have this wide industry appeal, okay? And you also need to create consistently for years, not for months, right? If you are constantly working on just one specific topic, eventually you're gonna be able to burn out. Having an industry lets you talk about a ton of different things without feeling off-brand, okay? Like, If you can talk about anything in fitness versus, again, the guys who are divorced over 40 and hate cardio, of course you're going to be able to talk for longer, and you're more importantly going to be able to create content for years, which is what it actually takes for most people to make it on YouTube. Like, let's just be realistic. Do you actually think right now, with your current state, that you could blow up on YouTube within the next 3 months like you say you will? No, of course not. You need help. You need help to get there even any faster. But even if you just keep going on the same path, you need time, all right? It's not just going to take a few months. It's going to take potentially years, and you need to book that time out, all right? It's the debt that you have to pay for the success that you're going to reap the rewards of later, all right? Let's look at a great example of this. Alex Hormozi. Firstly, he's been doing content for several years across many different platforms, podcasts, any social media you can think of. He's been doing YouTube for several years at this point. And he isn't just business advice for gym owners who can't even scale to 6 figures or 7 figures in 18 months. Like, it's way too specific. He's just high-level business owner content. He's just how to build a business in any model. Like, frankly, we'll put up some screenshots right now of videos that are literally like, understand what your business is and I'll double your revenue. Or like, this video is going to help you understand the shape of your business and how you can learn to grow exponentially, you know, something like that. Like, it's very generic, but it works and it's high level, okay? And this gives him the freedom to talk about sales, marketing. He can talk about operations, whatever he wants to, whatever kind of value add he thinks about, really. He's not limited. But there is a caveat to this, right? Alex Hormozi is a massive creator, bigger than me, you, us combined. We don't even, like, we're not even on the radar compared to someone like that, right? But Hormozi did start specific too, right? When he started years ago, he was a gym launch guy. He started literally teaching people how to launch gyms as a business owner in this specific niche who has this much revenue, who needs help getting to this much revenue. Pretty darn specific, but that was his thing. And he built his business in that industry so it could evolve. However, he quickly expanded. So I'm not telling you this to confuse you, right? Because we just mentioned, oh, don't be too specific, but this guy worked out pretty specifically, but now he's big. What I'm saying is you need to understand with the times. Firstly, don't be too specific at the beginning. I don't think most people have that issue, but it's something to be wary of course. You know, underwater basket weaving is not going to cut it for your industry, just like the divorced dads thing. But you need to be able to evolve quickly over time. You need to meet your audience where they're at, right? So as you grow with the audience. That's why we had to make this distinction. Frankly, when we were scripting out this video, because it was so hard to explain, we had to show you one piece of this onion at a time. So anyways, you don't start and stay there from day one. You position yourself in a space that has room to grow. You start small, not too small, and then you grow over time with the community that you have. And when you're starting out, you can't just be like, I'm a business channel, because we all know that's not gonna work. You're not Alex Hormozi, you're not gonna beat Iman Gadji, all these other people. People aren't going to care. You don't have credibility yet, you don't have scale, right? So that's where you need to sub-niche first, just not too much. Okay, good. So you picked an industry, you've got fitness down, but now you have another problem. There's millions of fitness creators. There's millions of people who are too sub-niched, and there's millions of people who already take over the giant, massive main proportion of the industry. So how is anyone supposed to choose you over someone else with better abs, better equipment, better production value, more experience, more years in the industry? You're just drowning in a sea of fitness content. And I see people making one of these two mistakes. They either stay too broad or they niche down too hard. And we're back to the divorced dads thing, right? This is just an endless cycle. But there's a third option, which is creating sub-niches. Now look. I know you're gonna say, wow, Ethan, this sounds like niching down again, but trust me, it's different. It's about narrowing down your focus, but not shrinking your pool, okay? We're starting in an industry like fitness, right? And then we're gonna shrink it down to something from a unique angle, right? You don't just wanna be another generic fitness creator, you need to make content different from other people. You know, like top 10 exercises for abs specifically, what I eat in a day, what kind of coffee I drink to feel the most energized for my workout, what's my morning routine as a calisthenics, you know, workout athlete. Initially, you might get some new views because your topics are popular. Like, this is actually going to boost your success because you're actually targeting a more specific amount of people that still exists. But the problem is, still nobody remembers you because there's more people out there, again, with better fitness equipment, with better abs for that ab video who can do more impressive calisthenic skills. Like, I love calisthenics, but I'm not gonna be able to stand out from just doing, you know, this sort of generic calisthenics content, right? So you need to be different, again. But how do you be different even further? Well, the first way is pure specialization, right? You're still in fitness, but you specialize in one thing in particular: bodybuilding, calisthenics, powerlifting, nutrition, mobility, whatever it is. But you need to be really damn good at it. Not the best, but you need to have a specialty, okay? Like if that could be your main thing, if this is what your entire channel rides on and you're really damn good at it, then consider it, okay? We'll get that out of the way just because, you know, like not everyone has the ability to do this. You go deep on it, but, you know, as a good quick example, Hybrid Calisthenics on YouTube, his entire channel is about calisthenics workouts for beginners, okay? So like he's got a very hyper-specific focus for a largely wide group of people. This is why whenever you're starting a business, for example, you need to understand your TAM, SAM, SOM, right? Your total addressable market, your serviceable addressable market, etc. So like you need to understand that just because you niche down doesn't necessarily mean you're targeting less people. You just need to make sure you understand like, okay, like literally do a quick Google search on your industry. Say it is underwater basket weaving in Africa. Like you search that up, nobody's going to search that up. But maybe if it was just basket weaving for, you know, Americans and Europeans, then you could be good. Or even just basket weaving for women who are retired. Like that's not bad. Or even just arts and crafts for women who are retired. You search these things up and you figure out, okay, look, there's 30 to 40 million people that are interested in this, and they actually have money in their pockets too, so you could potentially monetize. We'll save monetizing for another video. If you want to learn more about that and some more SOPs and docs at my agency Tactical Leads, check out this video in the top right hand corner where we talk about how to monetize your YouTube videos, not just through AdSense, but through actual content and selling your high ticket products. But anyways, right, there's tons of examples about how you can really get specific on a still wide group of people. That's why sub-niching is not the same thing as hyper-niching down, because there's still a large group of people. Hopefully that makes sense. But the next thing is combination niches. This is where you take your industry and combine it with something else that you care about. Fitness plus cinematics. You could do fitness plus minimalism, fitness plus technology, all these other different angles, right? You're creating something unique. You're doing something that hasn't been done before, creating a new angle. Now, one of my personal favorite ways to do this actually, and this was actually something I learned on X from the founder of 1 of 10, which is a great YouTube extension. I might link in the description below, but basically they actually found a piece of data on how basically there's tons of successful channels who already exist out there, and then typically smaller channels that are just starting up that are performing really well, that have videos that are what we call outliers. They base themselves off of really similar channels. We'll put screenshots up on the screen right now, or at least hopefully the editor can find these channels, but there is a channel called like Ape Economics or something like that, and it's basically literally just an ape animated explaining the economy, different sort of like international tariffs and things like that. Like there's a screenshot of, I'm not going to get into the details. And then on the other side, you have Aesthetics, which is a workout channel that also uses an ape for the animations and explainers, right? So they literally took the same concept, you know, like some 1 million subscriber channel, and then made another 100,000, 200,000 subscribers off of the same concept. Different channels though. It's a great idea, right? So it's about taking proven ideas and then twisting the industry a little bit, twisting your secondary skill, twisting that second combination to the niche. Because again, not everyone can specialize, so try combining things. That's my personal take. I really love that one. But the third one is also perspective based, which is how you approach things, right? Maybe you have a unique way of talking really energetically on camera. Maybe you kind of zoom in once in a while like I'm doing. Maybe you are really good at reading the script off the cuff and you just enjoy talking to the camera. That's my thing. But this is less about what you talk about and more about the approach, right? Are you science driven in how you talk and how you speak and how you think? Are you the anti-industry person? You're always coming up with new ideas. Are you beginner focused? Are you controversial? Are you, all these different angles that you could come up with on the same different topics. And you can combine these and create something truly unique. Again, to go back to the hybrid calisthenics, for example, he is a very down-to-earth kind of guy, right? It's a unique angle on something that you don't typically see, right? Most guys in the gym are very, very out there. They're always trying to be, super energetic. They're trying to show off. They're trying to, I don't know, get girls to like them on Instagram. But like hybrid calisthenics, he's just calm. He takes things nicely, nice and smooth. It's unique. It's a unique angle. So he actually combines two of these things. He's got the perspective-based advantage there, and he's also got a combination, he's got a specialization, right? He specializes in calisthenics for beginners, and he's got a unique calming personality. It's awesome. So that's a really good example of how you could combine the hybrid approach, which is combining, two or more things that are personalized to you, specializing properly, and of course, finally, having a unique perspective. So that's great. You can combine these and make something truly unique. I'm super glad that we're getting somewhere now. Hopefully your channel is already looking better. But I gotta be honest with you, there are still like 500 science-driven fitness for beginners channels at the end of the day, right? Like I can just think of Jeff Nippard off the top of my head. And trust me, you're not gonna beat him in any powerlifting competitions or bodybuilding anytime soon, from what I can tell. And not to call you out, but seriously, like there is so much competition on the internet. Still, there's gotta be something more to what actually makes someone succeed online, right? Well, there are individual differentiators. This is where you can shine, okay? This is the last level before we get to the big kahuna, the final secret, the content flywheel, right? You could have the exact same positioning as another creator. You are basically the same channel, right? You are just like Hybrid Calisthenics, for example. You're just like Alex Hormozi. You are specifically targeted towards those calisthenics beginners, and you have a calm tonality. You have this unique angle on things, but it's interchangeable. You're not that special. You're gonna feel replaceable, and you don't want to be. You wanna feel irreplaceable. You wanna be that guy that people tune into every single week when they get the notification on their phone. It's just like, bam, I'm watching this guy, right? Only one of you can have a true, loyal, actually interested audience that people feel personally connected to you. And it's always gonna be the guy who did it first, right? You need people who won't unsubscribe even if you took a year off of YouTube, because that is where the world is going, right? There's all these new platforms out there. Everyone talks about how, oh, you should start short form content and then come to YouTube and then go to YouTube and short form content and AI, it's gonna delete all the platform. Who cares? Who freaking cares? Just make an audience and talk to people. Fucking talk to people and give a shit about them. All right? Sorry to go off the cuff there a little too much, but like, it's not that hard when you actually care, when you actually know who you're talking to and you know the struggles of that business owner that you're making YouTube videos about, YouTube videos for, and they don't know where to get started, and it feels like there's endless layers to this video that Ethan's talking about. This isn't random, all right? It's hyper-focused. You have to care about people to the point where they will care back for you, right? People always want so much content and exposure, and even if it's just for business, making sales and putting themselves out there, they expect loyalty from an audience and subscriptions and likes who they haven't done shit for. You need to provide the value, you need to put in the reps, you need to record videos on a Sunday morning, every single week, twice a week, you need to pay for people to do the script writing, whatever it might be. These are the things that I do. What are you doing to be able to improve your content? Again, I gotta call you out on it, man. Like, if you're not doing these things, how are you possibly going to succeed? Not from a perspective of you're not doing the work, but you're not caring. You need to provide people value, and people will reciprocate. It's the simple law of reciprocation. This is a great example in the $100 Million Leads book from Alex Hormozi. If your free stuff is so damn good, imagine how much people are going to be willing to pay for your paid stuff, right? All I'm trying to do is provide you value. So do the same thing for your audience. It's not that hard. Sorry to be off the cuff for a little bit too much there. But like, there's got to be something specific that makes people attracted to you, right? And it's not just caring, because caring is great. We all care, but we run out of energy at some point. Okay, so yes, I care. I've always cared, and I bet you do too. That's why you're still watching this video even after I kind of just scolded you, right? So look, now you're like me a couple years ago, right? I couldn't figure out what it was for the longest time, because all the advice out there was just be yourself, or just be authentic, bro. Just kind of talk like you do. But like, what does that really mean? Like, what the hell does that mean, right? Like, tactically, what am I supposed to do to stand out differently? It's your personality, bro. Or sister, I don't want to assume, but it's your individual differentiators. It's your personal story. It's how you intertwine the fact that you are a college student still running this business, trying to do consulting for business owners because you want to help them help more people, help impact the world in a positive way, because not enough social media content does that, and you know that you can have a bigger impact by helping people have a bigger impact. Like, what's your story? That's mine. Okay, how can you tell this to people in a way that makes them want to listen up? What makes them perk up, and what makes them feel related to? Speak to them as if you were being spoken to directly from like God. I don't even want to compare this to in a sense to religion, but like, you know, as if something higher was just drawing you to this video, as if you were directly being spoken, because you just understand, and you know, not to be religious, but like, you can almost sense whenever you pick a good video to watch, for example, or a piece of content, or you talk to a good person, you just know sometimes when they're the right one. It just something clicks. Maybe you're not religious, we don't need to get into all that, but something just clicks when you meet that right person, when you meet your wife, when you meet, your best friend, when you find that one video that changed your life for the year. When I just recently bought a $1,000 YouTube tool because I watched a couple YouTube videos and I just realized it was perfect. I got on the sales call, the guy didn't even have to work, like he just answered a few questions and we're good, right? That's what I'm talking about to make you stand out. Just take the words right out of their mouth, be genuinely there for them, answer their questions, give them a personal story, relate to them, show them your transformation and the fact that this is a video that you made for them, right? And of course, this goes back into the balancing point of, okay, well, we need to be very specific about, well, who I am and how I'm unique and how that relates to people without, micro niching down again too much to where, oh, people won't understand this. So the best approach for this is having a personal story, but not directly forcing that into your niche, right? Like I didn't start with my personal story for this video. I started with YouTube advice for business owners wanting to make more sales. And now I'm talking about how I'm this young guy who understands the algorithm and who has an agency trying to help business owners make a bigger impact because I genuinely want to help these high-ticket business owners actually make an impact in the world, because most content out there is junk and there's AI slop and there's all these other terrible forms of content that just waste people's time, because I used to be addicted to content, right? All these things, it's your unique communication style, all your obsessions and philosophies that you just won't shut up about, your background outside the niche, how you came from tech or indie film and psychology class and you have 3 PhDs in this one random thing and it makes you talk weirdly but people love it. These kind of things are what you use to make yourself stand out. You don't build your niche around them. Big distinction, right? We had the industry, then we had the sub-niche, which we still had to make sure we had a nice sizable market for. And then once you got those people locked down, then you stand out even further by being you with your unique story. Again, go back to hybrid calisthenics, right? He's the opposite of your typical macho fitness influencer, right? We talked about how he's so nice and unique and he has a different angle on things, right? He's actually not just nice though and calm, he's vulnerable on camera. He has videos talking about his personal struggles, right? It really makes you want to connect with him. It makes you want to listen and feel more invested in who he is, because we're people at the end of the day. It's one of our 4 basic needs from what I know. I don't know, some girl told me about the 4 basic needs again and I forget, but I haven't heard that in a long time, but I'm pretty sure one of them is socialization, right? Outside of food, water, maybe shelter, but we need people to connect to. And especially with all this technology, we feel so distanced. And dude, the easiest way to stand out online is not being authentic or having a better camera quality or all these other things. It's connecting to people. It's building a relationship. Being authentic is a terrible way to put it, because it's so much more than that. You could be authentic in any moment. You could be authentically angry, authentically sad. That's cool, but that's in a moment. Building a connection is a mindset, right? Just like if you've ever, for all my guys out there, if you ever met a girl, you want to build a connection. If you really want to get to know her, right? If you really want to be with her long term, you need to actually understand, okay, this is something I need to really open up about. I need to keep it light, playful, but I also have to open up at times and I have to find the right dynamic. And it's a continuous effort. You build that footprint with every single video that you make, and people get more and more invested. And yes, it's not easy to open up on camera to millions of people. For me, I don't really like talking about how I'm young, especially in the B2B space. And I'm gonna try to keep opening up about my addictions to social media and how I'm trying to turn it into positive use. But it's hard. I'm even trying to back behind the camera a little bit for that, but maybe stick around to the end of the video, I'll talk about it a little bit more, right? It's not easy to open up, but at the end of the day, skills get attention, identity builds attachment. People don't buy from a faceless channel. That's why there's YouTube AdSense, right? They buy from you. They buy from you. People don't buy from companies. They don't buy from Nike. They buy from the athletes in the commercials. They buy from the feeling that they get when they put on the athletic wear and it makes them feel unstoppable. Make people feel unstoppable, okay? This is what most people skip. They think that they need to be professional, they need to be polished, they need all these fancy things, but no. Just build a connection, okay? But you still, even after all this, might not be converting viewers into customers, okay? There's still one last piece, the content flywheel. We finally made it. We finally made it, the content flywheel of all things, right? Because this final layer, this is the one that's changed everything for me, okay? Because without this, frankly, everything else is just content creation. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's lots of great content creation out there, but it's not exactly the same thing as community building. So that's why I want to welcome you to section 4. Thank you for sticking here. This is the community flywheel, okay? This is what you need to accept. Viewers are not your fans, okay? Fans are not super fans. And if you're only optimizing for views, you're building for the wrong thing, right? You're gonna have passive viewers, passive audience, people that don't care, people that don't buy your products. They just watch for the value, for the entertainment factor maybe, and leave. They just kind of soak up that beautiful hook that you made where you threw the pumpkin at the video and then they leave, right? But a community participates. They get involved. They buy your stuff, not because they want to, but desperately need to, because they reciprocate, because the Alex Hormozy advice just freaking works. Because at some point, humans biologically feel like they need to reciprocate when they've given enough value, when they've been given enough, right? They comment with real thoughts. They tell you how they feel. They tell you what they want to hear more of because you care, they care. They don't just comment emojis, they tell you real thoughts. They tell their friends about you. They ask how they can support you. They start asking you if you make enough free content. Bro, where's your paid stuff? Well, I want to work with you. I don't got time to make YouTube videos. Ethan, where's your channel? Where's your, sorry, shameless plug. I run a YouTube agency. Boom. But like, the real question is, how do you turn viewers into those high-paying audience members that more importantly care? Like, you don't have to buy my stuff. I just would rather you care and share this to someone else who can care too, hopefully. I don't make this channel expecting to make money right now. This is a long-term investment, okay? You got to do everything right. Like, it takes a long time to succeed here. So, you know, at the end of the day, the thing that's missing is interaction. People aren't putting themselves out there actively, intentionally interacting with comment sections, asking people, hey, what did you think of the video? Hey, thanks for commenting, man. Is there anything you think I could do to improve the video? Intentionally connecting with those people, even reaching out to people in the real world who might be in your ICP, your actual target audience, right? Reach out to them and ask them personally, what could I do better? What did you like? Just how are you doing today? And don't get me wrong, everyone skips this part. I was stuck here as well, okay? Like, tactically, this is a difficult thing to do. And the question again becomes, what do I do? How do I do all this? And then I read this great book called Superfans by Pat Flynn, not sponsored or anything. It's an older book, but it completely changed my thinking on personal branding and YouTube. Here are the top 5 things I learned from the book. Remember people's names, use them over and over again, repeat them, do whatever you have to remember, ask follow-up questions, treat it like a conversation, not a broadcast, all right? I'm not just talking to a camera, I'm talking to people. I know it's just a lens, but I know there's gonna be people seeing this at the end of the day, even if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month from now, a year from now when I post this video. So let people participate in building this thing with you, okay? You need to talk to people as if they are a part of the mission, because they are. You can't do this without people, okay? Do polls, ask them what could be better, ask them what they want to see more of, right? Like I just said, let them influence your direction of content. Don't think that you're just the one in control and you're the decision maker. Literally listen to the comment section sometimes. Of course, vet it, but listen to what people want. Make them feel like they're a part of it, more importantly. Show them, hey, this was your guys' feedback. We're going to try it out for this episode. And if it doesn't work, maybe never listen to your audience again. But if you guys have feedback for me, comment it below. I'd love to listen to it, right? And another thing is give people visibility. And when someone comments on a video that, you know, they got results from your advice, shout them out. In the next video, say, hey, by the way, Jim commented about how he, you know, lost 40 pounds. I just wanted to highlight that, guys. This isn't even a paying client. Like, he just watched my videos. And I just want to shout out Jim for brightening my day up when I read his comment. Make a video about them. Celebrate their wins publicly. All right, make them feel seen. That's it. Okay? All right, number 4, create access. All right? Live streams, Q&As, even just responding to DMs sometimes helps. Anything that makes a barrier between them and you feel smaller, right? You might be across the country, across the world, But when you respond to them, when you do things live, a good thing that my friend Mason Lewis recently said, I might link his channel too, is that live streams are potentially one of the only ways that humans can feel like they have real live connection with one another. Yes, good quality video is there, but live streaming is like the way we'll be able to really tell whether someone's real or not, right? Because, you know, we have video AI generating now, photos, it's already done, like AI writes everything, it does all these things, but live streams, it's real. Direct messages are private. Most people don't hear about these things, but people feel seen, and even if it's just a small impact on one person, that shit spreads like wildfire, especially when you can make a super fan, all right? When it stops feeling like they're watching a creator and it starts feeling like they know you as a friend, that's where you're doing something right. Number 5, surprise people. Do things they don't expect you to. Do more. This is literally the best way to build a good friend, to build someone who is actually like really attracted to you, whether that's, you know, in a relationship, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's in a friend. Do things that they don't expect. Go above and beyond, right? Send free resources for no reason other than you love your audience, right? Make videos so passionately because you love them. Reply to a random DM with real help that you spent 30 minutes researching on. Do things that don't scale. That's my favorite thing from Pat Flynn's book. Don't scale. And you'd be surprised how well that would be helpful at scaling. But don't try to reverse psychology, that whole thing. It's what builds insane loyalty at the end of the day, though, okay? When you don't scale, you scale. And when you win people over with these small wins, you win big, okay? So when you do all these things consistently, trust me, the sales will follow. You got to have some faith at the end of the day. Not here to preach religion or anything like that. I think faith is a choice. That's all it is, okay? So have some faith in the system, have some faith in the truth that you will win if you keep going, you keep helping people, all right? They will reciprocate. You don't need to convince them. They will want to support you at the end of the day. So that's it, guys. That is the architecture of the entire thing. At the beginning, again, we talked about the industry, we talked about the sub-niche, we talked about your unique differentiators, and then we talked about just giving a shit. I'm gonna double check my script to make sure that last one is right, because obviously it's more than giving a shit, but it's the community flywheel, right? It's interacting with people. It's actually going above and beyond in the comment sections, doing things that are unique, going above and beyond in everything that you do, really just caring about people more than anyone else cares. That's a layer that no one else really thinks about, because it doesn't seem scalable. Everyone is so lazy nowadays with AI content creation. But you got to remember, in the center of this whole thing is the community flywheel, which is just caring and repeatedly doing it on an unscalable level, then back out to your unique differentiators, your sub-niche, and your industry. All right, guys. So I know you could skip to the end and maybe just have watched this whole interaction thing, but at the end of the day, you know, if you don't have the interacting piece without all this special positioning, there is no point. If you spend all day just DMing your 10-person audience, then that's, you know, just kind of a small little circle jerk. I don't know if we'll put that in the video. At the end of the day, you know, maybe, I don't know if that'll make it, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's like a small little group. It's not going to get you anywhere. So, you know, you need to actually have proper positioning, proper marketing, rather than just random friends. So you got to balance out, you know, proper scale with keeping the interaction, which is when it's most impressive, is when you have such a large audience, but you still care about small people, which is why Superfans is such a great book, because Pat Flynn is a massive guy, but he cares. Not the biggest guy out there, but he really cares about people. It's amazing. And all 4 of these layers build upon each other. Most creators stop at layer 1 or 2, and look, this is uncomfortable. I don't even like reading this script that I got up here, but it takes time. It takes time to get used to all these things. You're creating a community of people who care. You're creating not just 1 million people that watched a video and gave you a view, but 100 potential super fans. Let's just get 100 people who are actually just better off from watching you and your content. Imagine if you had 100 people buying your product. How much would that change your life? 100 people that would buy anything you put out, more specifically. Not just people that would watch a video and maybe buy your cheapest thing, someone that would buy anything. Imagine if you had that. And that's not views. That's being real. If you be real, those people will come. Okay? That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful, not just me rambling on for about 20 minutes, okay? A lot of effort went into this video, and more goes into every single one. So if you could subscribe, like, anything like that, that'd be great. And yeah, check out the video on the screen if you want to learn more about how to grow on YouTube and all the systems that me and my team use. Anyways, catch you guys in the next one. Peace!